Traditional levels are great, but when precision really matters, a digital cube level takes accuracy to the next level. Whether you're aligning tools, checking angles, or setting up your machinery, it's a game changer. In this video, I'll show you how to use the digital cube level to set up your stationary power tools so you can get precise cuts, making it possible to get the tight joinery you need for beautiful projects. Most people think of a level as a carpentry tool, and I'd have to agree with them. But when we talk about a digital level, we're talking about a whole different thing, specifically a digital cube level. Now, this is the solenoid digital cube level, and the biggest use I found for this in woodworking is setting up my tools. Now, you and I as woodworkers need the same kind of precision that machinists need when they're making things. The difference is that their equipment is designed to give them that level of accuracy and precision. It's built right into the equipment. Ours, it isn't. We have to bring that along ourselves. And the easiest way and the best way is with digital measurement tools, like the digital cube level. Well, what do I mean by using it for setting up tools? Well, specifically, I use it for setting up my table saw's blade angle, the tilt for the blade. Okay, but I also find it equally useful for doing the same thing on the bandsaw and for setting up my drill press when I need to do angle cuts. Now, a lot of people will use a square, like this tri-square for those types of things, and that works. I'm not saying it won't. The problem with using a square is that you've got to get the edge of the square absolutely aligned with whatever, whether it be the table saw blade or a drill on the drill press, and sometimes it's hard to tell if it is exactly aligned. The digital square does that exactly perfectly for us. And the magnetic base allows us to turn it sideways and attach it so that we're sure that we're getting an exact reading. There's no little gaps anywhere that we need to worry about. So let's see how we use this in actual practice. The digital cube level has 4 buttons on it and gives you a lot of information. The first button here is a simple power button. Powers it on and lights up the display. You'll notice not only is it giving us a digital readout, but it's got a bubble there as well. So we can tell which direction we're off. Are we off this way or this way just by the movement of that bubble, okay? The second button is a hold button, which we could use to zero the level. Like, for example, my workbench here isn't perfectly level. So if I want to zero it to measure something, I can press that, wait a second, and it zeroes itself. So that's zeroed, okay? The third button is a mode button that allows you to change between degrees, percentages, or millimeters. And the last button is a hold button. So if I had this, say, at this angle, and I couldn't quite read it, I could hit that button and then remove it, and it still holds that reading. One of the greatest uses of this level is for setting up a table saw's blade angle. Now, I've got other things I can do this with, but I find the digital cube level to be the best. So I can turn this on and zero it to my table. And you can see it's a little over 1 degree off right now. And that's because my table is not sitting level. My floor here in my workshop is not exactly level like a lot of people's. So I now zeroed it, okay? I can place that on the side of my blade because it's magnetic, and I see that actually I'm not quite at 90 degrees right now. That's of course adjustable, but let's say I want to do, say, a 60-degree angle. So I can tip my blade over yeah, that last little bit's always the hardest part. So there's 60.03, up 59.97. I mean, we're right about at 60 degrees, okay? When I want to put it back up, I can just reverse the procedure and go right back up to what should be 90 degrees, and I'm actually about 7/10 of a degree off. I can do essentially the same thing with my table, or my drill press here, making sure the table is flat. So I can set it up here on my spindle, and I find that it is just a touch off. I'm going to go ahead and zero it. There we go. So it's zeroed there. So now I'm going to set it on the table, which I want to be at 90 degrees. And we can see that the table is a little bit off, and it's this side that's high. I think I'll call 89.99 good enough. And finally, the level also works as a bubble leveler. Here it is sitting on the top of my workbench, and we can see that this is where the bubble would be if it was an actual bubble level. So I'm a little bit high to this side and even less high to my left, okay? So if I wanted my bench to be exactly level, this would show me where I need to shim, which legs I need to shim to level it out.